Welcome to Season 2 of Why Your Business is Invisible Online. This season, we focus on the dramatic change artificial intelligence is having on your online visibility. Joining me are my two co-hosts, and here they are.
Hi, this is Jim Filatico. I'm currently obsessed with planning my next beach adventure for my whole family.
Hi, I'm Kelly Biggs. We're talking about AI this season. I'm wondering, can I get an AI agent to clean my house?
And I'm your host, John Manatis, still glued to my guitar, but with my new band planning our next tour. Okay, gang, we're back again for another episode. Excited about this one. But before we dive into what we want to talk about today, I thought we'd just pick up on how things are going in our lives. And Jim, I know in your opening you talk about you were planning your next, I don't know if it's a beach trip or a huge trip, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about how your planning's going, what's happening. And one thing that leads up into what we're going to talk about. Are you one of those travelers who likes to, let the algorithm do a lot of the heavy lifting for you in advance? Or do you, set up your own little spreadsheet, figure out the itinerary? Are you the man on that front? Or maybe even somebody else in the family does that work? But yeah. What are they using when it comes to planning your trip these days?
Well, my algorithm is my wife and my daughters figuring out what they want to do. And
smart man.
Yeah, exactly. And the different personalities and the different age groups. So, we've got grandkids and my kids are older. And so everyone wants to do something differently. And so that's what makes it really interesting. But yeah, we've found a place. We're going for a week to Sunset Beach, North Carolina, which is where we lived for a bit. And so we found a place there that is close to the beach, has a pool, has outdoor space. Now, this is all about the algorithm, right? Restaurants are nearby. It comes with whatever utensils and all that. I mean, all that stuff that comes into building this vacation. New this year is the beach now charges for parking, which it didn't before. So that's going to be interesting with kids' toys and tents and coolers and towels and all that stuff. So I'm going to be the valet going back and forth to the beach, I'm sure. But we've got it pretty well settled in. One daughter I think is going to fly in because she can't get off the amount of time that she needs to. So just more interesting additions to the details that have to be worked out, but we're definitely looking forward to it. My older daughter is in education. My wife is a consultant in education, so their years start in August, September, and end in June. Mm-hmm. So they're looking forward to this vacation more probably than everybody else. So
cool. And then so when they were planning this, since they're the planners, like in the past, I know I always used to just use Google and search a whole bunch of websites. I don't know if you were looking over their shoulder when they were planning, but were they using AI or were they using checking out websites, figuring out?
They expect Dad to do all that.
They
give me their ideas, their concepts. I have to make sure that I understand what the hell they're saying. Okay. And understand it, and then do my own research.
The question is, how often are you right?
Not very often. Not very often, but depending on who pays, then that they get more power. So that does help me a bit. Cool. In this situation, because we lived there before, there's less research required. Mm-hmm. More about where we're staying was the big thing. Mm-hmm. We knew of places, but because we had a home there, it was a lot easier just to kind of them show up. Now we all have to travel there, and so just that this actually worked out as more word of mouth and stuff. I didn't have to do as much research.
Oh, okay. So that helped. Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you do about I know I always have these issues because eating's a big deal for my family. All six of us actually. And the good news is that we have similar tastes in our palates, so it doesn't lead to big arguments in terms of what we're going to eat. But in terms of planning the spots where you guys are going to eat and stuff, again, with research, how are you picking the spots? How are you finding them? Are you using AI to just give you the top three in, pizza joints? Or
are we going to Yelp or
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Are you just, I've been here enough times that I already know.
Yeah, that's basically what it is for this one. Although, sadly, some restaurants have closed, some new have opened up.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you know what I mean.
Okay.
So you have to do that. So we'll use it more when we get there. As it turns out, as long as that's chicken nuggets for the kids, and
That's a
we
win.
we like fresh seafood and more casual. That's what we'll end up doing. But yeah, it definitely will be a game time decision because kids need naps and people are tired or they get sunburned or whatever. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I'm finding for food stuff. I'm tending to lean more. I still type it in. I'm not using voice as much as some of my buddies are, but I tend to start using. I'm starting to use AI more. Just tell me what the best three are in this area. I don't want to search 20 websites and find them and read all about them and things like that. I might go look at some reviews if they give me a top two.
You're not afraid it's going to hallucinate? I mean,
I'm rolling the dice. Yeah.
Right. I'm not trusting it for that. If it's local, I don't rely on AI as much for those type of searches. For me, I still want to just go to Google and I just want the map pack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If it's local, okay.
Or Yelp,
Yeah.
or Yelp.
Yeah, Yelp's another big one.
Actually, I use social because, well, it's 5:30, 6 o'clock. We're both exhausted, and it's like, okay, it's either cheese and crackers again, or let's go out. And it's like, okay, what specials are out this week? So I'll go to social and look at some of our favorite restaurants and see what their specials are.
Yeah.
And me being cheap, that's what I do. Taco Tuesdays are, great or whatever. So
It's funny you say
for that.
social because something hit my feed the other day and I thought it got me. It was like, here are the top 5 worst Black-owned restaurants in Atlanta. And so I was like, oh, wow. And so you start to listen to it and it's like, don't go here because the food is amazing. And it's, it's kind of like they serve your food on time. The service is amazing. You don't want. So anyway, it was a clever hook because I was like, I might try it,
As long as you're willing to click through it. Yeah.
Right. And so it was still user generated content, right? It was and I know we'll get into that actually, John, if you want to.
That was a good little intro. So thanks for that, Jim. Thanks for everybody pitching in on that because it's all about what we're going to be talking about today, which is we know AI impact has made a massive impact in a number of areas, but this is one of the biggest ones. Today is all about talking about the impact it's made on social. It's made on visual searches. It has made a massive impact on voice searches. So now, what was this smaller universe of getting found? Now the universe is expanded dramatically, and today is all about that and the nuances that come from visual searches and voice searches now, and where we can go with that. And there's a lot to unpack here. So why don't we just dive in? That was a good intro. Let's start with visual searches because I think those are fun. A lot of us have played with that already, and I think there might be some interesting examples here. Google Lens is an example of one that's pretty hot these days. People snapping signs or product tags. Products are a big one, obviously, but images are so important now. So I want to start with Jim. What's the last time you might have used a photo instead of words to find something that you really were looking for? Maybe talk about that.
It's interesting you ask because this morning, while I was on another meeting, I got an image sent to me from my wife for a pair of Adidas.
Samba was it?
Sambays, I think it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell. And so I got the image, and now it's my job to seek them out with the size and the color she wants and buy them. I'm not sure why that's my job, but it turns out to be my job. So I didn't even take the image. It was sent to me via text. So now I've got to deal with that. But yeah, that was just this morning. But we are using it more and more. We've talked about moving into our new house over the last couple of years. So adding landscaping, all those kind of things. You can take a picture of you walk on a walk, you take a picture of a flower or a bush or whatever and say, yeah, that would look in the yard, and you figure out what it is based on that and then go from there. So, but yeah, the latest one, there's my wife's new tennis shoes.
Nice. Kelly, how about you? Where are you seeing visual search like take off, whether it's in, retail or in, repair ideas, or maybe even anything else that's happening in your world?
Yeah, honestly, I think it's taken off across all three of the three that you specifically mentioned. But one I see, and for us, again, like Jim, a real world example is, I know I told you guys I own a vending machine business. And so one of the things that we bought was this, when we were getting trained, they were like, you need this dolly system. And somebody had this 4-in-1 dolly system. And so meaning I could lay it flat, I could turn it upright. And I don't even remember what the other two features are because I don't really use them. But I do like the idea of laying it flat depending on where I'm trying to get in and out of. Anyway, so I used a picture and then searched and found all the places that could do it. And then you end up in like Google Shop or Amazon Shop, and some of them, the smart vendors, which we ended up going to a vendor we hadn't even heard of before, because they sold them and it was at a great price point. But then, as a turn of events, like a wheel dropped off the other day, and Ryan's like, "Where did you get it from?" And we're hoping it was from one of the usual suspects, and I'm like, "No, I did." It's some other company that I'm not sure of. And so anyway, but he was like, well, we're not going to replace it. I just need the screw. So he took a picture of the screw, right? And then got an idea of like what it was and was able to then go to a hardware store and we were able to fix the screw, and then it's working well again. And that's for parts. And I think that that's really important.
Yeah.
I think another example is, it's always, like Jim alluded to, retail is obviously huge. People are snapping outfits and shoes, even packing. Packaging kind of works to find like where you can buy it, right? And so what I see, and I would say, cosmetics is a good play for it. Like you guys probably can't appreciate, but finding that right color of red lipstick is so important. And when you see somebody with it, you're like, okay, what's this? Give me this color because this is the one that I want. What's the most close? Like those use cases are huge, I think. And so wherever you have something physical that you want people to be able to identify, visual search is, in my opinion, becoming the right shortcut.
Yeah. I had an example recently where our fridge was on the fritz. It actually caused some major, like there was a leak in the back, caused some major damage in the room that houses all of my. I know I talk about my music a lot, but that houses like my guitars and the drums and stuff. Thankfully, it didn't touch any of that stuff. It was in the so it leaked from my kitchen, but it dripped right into that room that's in the basement. Anyway, so I called a good friend of mine from our BNI group. And he comes in, he opens up the back of the fridge and he finds this. He goes, here's the problem. And I said, what is that? Because it was this huge part. It wasn't a small little piece. It was a massive part. It had all these colored mini parts built into it. And I said, where are you going to find one of these? He said, watch. And literally, he just took a picture of it, connected with Amazon, and literally in seconds, it actually gave him a choice of different prices too. And he said, oh, we don't need to spend money on this. He says, watch this one. He goes, this will be here tomorrow. I'm going to get it to come to your house. And basically it's only going to cost you like $50. It was coming from Mexico, I think. And literally it all worked out perfectly. Came out the next day, fixed my fridge, no issues whatsoever. I had never seen that before. Fridge repairs in my place were like minimum $400.
Yeah.
Every time. So I'm amazed as to how quickly he solved the problem.
It's interesting that a professional, right, does that, where he's not looking up a schematic or whatever. They just take a picture. I mean,
Yeah.
timing that it saves, as long as you do it and you trust that it's going to be the right one, which obviously he does since he's done it in the past. That's great.
Yeah, that worked
Right.
out. That worked out really well. And these are some of the things that we're dealing with in the world of visual search. The structure we're going to use today is talk about the concept and what's going on. Then we're going to look at so what? So this is happening. What's the response? And then now what? What are we going to do about it? So I think that's a good structure for all our discussions today. So I want to start with you, Kelly. So why do you think visual search matters so much for product-based businesses? And maybe that's an obvious answer, but I think there's some nuances there.
Yeah, I mean, it's somewhat obvious, but I'm not sure that everybody's thought through it.
Mhm.
So if you think about it I think it's an advantage actually for product-based businesses because your product is now your business. And so people don't, just like when we're talking about that, like go back to my example of the 4-part dolly. I remember what it was. I can't tell you even today what brand I use, and I literally see it every day, right? I cannot tell you who, because it's the functionality, but what I know is like I like what it did. I like that I can, that's one use. You can adjust the height, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, which is nice when you're pulling it.
Between you and Rowan.
Yeah, you guys are tall. Yeah,
We're
really tall.
taller, so it's important to us.
Yeah.
It's still almost like having a piece of luggage where you're still having to dip just a little bit, but it's still important. But if what you're trying to get me to do when I'm at a product base and I'm snapping a picture, I'm probably high intent, and you putting that out there for me and making it easier for me to find you makes sense, right? And so I just think that's where things are going. And that visual search to me is like the modern version of window shopping,
Yeah.
right? But so instead of it being window shopping, it's really happening on your phone and on your screen. So if you're a business and you're thinking about your products, it almost makes it a little more complicated because in addition to your overall brand, you do need to think about who wants this product and how do I position it and how do I make it very visual for them to see themselves in it and buy straight away.
Mm-hmm. Jim, what have you seen in terms of like businesses? Are they out there now, to Kelly's point, are they out there really looking at photography now becoming a huge part of the strategy? It always was part of it now, but now you have to look at it a little differently, knowing that there are tools like Google Lens out there and available to people, and they're just going to grow. The usage of Google Lens is going to obviously grow dramatically. It already has. So are you hearing more about companies really embedding that directly into their strategy now?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I can remember back in the day on Amazon, you'd see black and white schematics of products, and it's come a long way. And I think I was going to say B2C definitely have, and B2B, it's been slower, but I think they have adopted it only because they realize that picture's worth 1,000 words, and people, when they're using a certain product or a competitive product and they see the image that looks similar to or identical to what they're using, it makes it much more comfortable, and it helps them trigger a purchase as opposed to a description. So those images are really important, whether it's on social or their website or Amazon or whatever else. I mean, it's critical that those pictures work, and they're realizing that it's gone from, like I said, that schematic to a picture to a 3D to a video. Now you see a lot of videos that just spin around the product so you can see all sides or whatever. So yeah, they're realizing it. And there's obviously technical aspects to make sure that it's optimized, but they're definitely realize that the images are critical.
On that, Kelly, I know you talk a lot about the importance of brand now with this in this AI impacted world that we're in now. Are you finding that companies are trying to do things with their imagery now to become more consistent in how they present it, so that eventually it becomes an integral part of who they are, of their brand. So when you look at the imagery, you say, oh, that must be this company because they always do their imagery this way, versus another one which does it very differently, but they stand out for that reason. Are companies using their imagery in this way to be a bit more strategic?
Yeah, I'm not sure all companies are, to be honest, but I think all companies should. Like if we get down to it, what's important is it's all about repetition and recognition. Now, we've all heard it takes 7 touches before somebody acts on a brand, often called the 7-touch rule, right? Visual consistency helps you kind of rack up those touches a little bit faster if you're a product-based brand. If you're a service-based brand, I think brand has always been important in images. And I think they do a little bit better job, in my opinion, with it because they understand the importance. But let's go back to what you were saying, which is that when you're posting images or you're doing images, if you follow like a recognizable style, like where your logo is in the same place, your colors, your angles, your tone, it creates kind of what I would coin as like a visual signature, right? That starts, and the more it starts to stick with people. So like take us through a buyer journey. Maybe they see you on Instagram, for instance. And then they see your packaging, same packaging that they saw on Instagram in a store. See a customer post about it, like a user-generated post. And later, maybe they see the similar product on like a Google Lens. Well, that's 4 brand touches all tied together that they are going to associate with you and your brand, not just the usability like I talked about before. So here's a part that I think most people are missing when it comes to this. If you think about Google, Instagram, Pinterest, they're all getting really smarter about these images. And I would probably say this is true of AI, though I don't know it definitively to be true with AI search. But if you're consistent, you're not just building like brand awareness, but you're also helping the algorithm to connect the dots here too, so that it makes it more discoverable. You're being more trustworthy, and it's going to get you more conversions.
Yeah. So your brand signature is critical. It's funny as you were talking and you use that. I love that word signature because like when you go to an art gallery, or if I took a cubist piece of art and put it in front of you, Picasso comes to mind quickly. It might not even be Picasso, but you're leaning already that way because of his signature, that period of his artwork, or a Van Gogh. Again, when you look at a Van Gogh painting, you sort of know it's him, just because of his signature and that imprint that's left in your mind. So no different with companies and brands. I believe I agree with you. The importance of it is massive, more so now than ever before, with visual search being that huge and only getting bigger. So what's our response to this? Now what? Now what do we do? So we understand this. Jim, what are a few ways that a product brand can get more visual search ready for what's happening already?
Sure. Well, other than the obvious, and just having, like Kelly just said, having consistent images, you want to make sure that your brand is there, but not too much in your face, but just natural. But what we find, I think, especially in B2B businesses, is their images are not named properly. So it's harder to search. It's harder for the bots to pick that up. If your image is 1234 JPEG, it doesn't know that it's Adidas Soundbase or whatever the hell, right? So
you feeling some kind of way about these Soundbase?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to buy them as soon as we get done today. So
anyway, there's a birthday coming up, I guess.
No, it's just a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday?
Yeah. But anyway,
I like that. We could coin it.
I like it. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. Okay, next Wednesday
Wonders.
I'll be asking, what are you buying this week, Jim?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So, but anyway, so, the technical side of it is making sure that the meta tags are set up properly, that the descriptions are set up properly, and the titles are set up properly for those images. So that way, when the bots are searching, it'll come up. It's not, you don't want to rely on great imagery. You got to make sure that the technical side is done well and done properly. And if you do that, you have a much better chance of showing up for that type of search.
Oh, like for service brands, how do things like vehicle wraps or branded uniforms or storefront signage, how do they help with discovery?
For service brands, to me, the things that you described are physical assets, right? So think, again, I'm going through my vending machines. I had went to get some logos so that when we show up, people know who we are. And it's really important because we could get some referral-based business that way. Like, people seeing us, they see our logoed shirts. For instance, we come in, now they know the name of our actual vending company. We're not just the vending people. And our unique difference is that we're partially due to how much money we put into it. We're the ones sourcing it, right? So
right.
we're truly owner-based. So we're
founders.
Yeah. But when I ordered them, I remember the company that I had called, they were like, you should get a magnet. And I was like, really? They're like, if you can't do the wrap, having a magnet, again, that's my brand. So think vehicle wraps, vehicle magnets, uniforms, signage. They are a part of your discoverability. You have to think beyond branding. So even when you do that, if you're doing a magnet, put a QR code on it. Versus putting it up on a billboard that people are flying by, like where people are stopped. Think about it. When will you see my magnet? When we're probably stopped in Atlanta traffic and you're like, oh yeah, we don't have a vending machine in our office. It's always empty. Let me snap that, right? And I'm going to give them a call. And so now they're part of your discoverability. Visual search tools can now start to recognize your logo, your telephone number. And it's another place of trust validation. It's the same address. It's the same telephone number. Oh, this is the same company. And somebody found it somewhere and not where I was expecting it to. It's a signal, right? So businesses need to spend time making sure that their branding is readable, consistent, and search connected, meaning, okay, if I'm searching for it, thinking about how might my people search for this, right? So you just want to make sure you have the key information. People are no longer typing in www. So don't even put that on a visual.
Yeah.
Again, use your QR code.
Okay.
Make sure that you have your Google, make sure that whatever QR code matches your Google business profile. And then same thing with the social, is about consistency. So if somebody snaps that picture, it has to be tied to your search. And then it's another way to make sure that you're not invisible.
Okay. So if I use a QR code on let's say I have a van and I'm a mechanic or an electrician and I have a QR code on my van, are you finding that if I snap that QR code, what comes up on my phone? Is it different for different businesses depending on their target market? Like, is the website every time that comes up, or is it something specific depending on the business?
It better tie into whatever your upstream message is, John.
Right. Okay.
So that's the beauty of it. You know that this QR code is going to be on this sign that's going to be on your magnet. So think through, what does the end user want? Probably the homepage is good for that. But same thing if you're doing mailers, which is still viable. If you were doing mailers, you had a lot of content to give them the context that they need. So you should have warmed them up a little bit more that they don't need to be on your homepage. It should be on a landing page that's very consistent with this. So for example, let's talk about the Sambes. If Jim had seen a flyer come in that say Sambes 20% off, and he clicks the QR code, and now he's somewhere that doesn't mention the 20% off, Jim's going to be frustrated.
Yeah.
So just
For sure.
it has to be consistent.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Let me know if you have that 20%.
Hey, Jim, I was looking up Samba while Kelly was talking quickly. I'm not sure, but I think it's Brazilian. It's the Samba. It's, that dance, the music, the dance. Yep. Okay, I think
They're indoor soccer shoes, but the Sambes.
Oh, Sambes are different.
Have a thicker sole.
Oh,
and who knew, right?
Who knew?
But, yeah. And then there's another one that's even thicker.
Oh, wow.
I won't even consider.
You're becoming an expert. This is good.
Who knew, right?
A question for both you guys. So what are some of the quick ways to test that you're actually showing up on visual search today? What kind of things are the best ways to check it out for your organization if you're not already?
Well, I think the easiest thing would be just to, take a picture of your product kind of in the wild, not in the wild. So that way, it has context like we talk about, and see then if it picks it up and it'll go to that particular product. You know what I mean? So if you see somebody with red lipstick and you're able to take a picture of that or whatever, that it can understand that, or the Sambes that it picks it up and it goes to the right link, then you know that it's working. You can't just assume that it's that product with a white background. That's not going to be natural, right? So you want it natural, so that way it picks it up that way.
Kelly, any thoughts on that as well? Like, what are people doing to just test?
Yeah, no. I think Jim has pretty much covered it there. Test, you got to test.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are sometimes afraid of what the answer is, but if somebody's figured it out, why not you? And if they figured it out and you haven't, you're probably missing out on some revenue, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in to Why Your Business is Invisible Online. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do us a favor and subscribe and follow us on Spotify and Apple. Be sure to share it with other business owners who might find it helpful. If you want to dig deeper, contact us at ruinvisibleonline.com. That's capital letter R, capital letter U, followed by invisibleonline.com. Or message us on our LinkedIn business profile with the same title, Are You Invisible Online? The information shared in this podcast is for educational purposes only and should not be considered professional advice. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the hosts and guests and may or may not reflect the official policy or position of WSI Corporate. Always consult a qualified digital marketing expert before making significant changes to your online strategy. Until next time, keep connecting with the people who matter most to your business and join us for our next episode.